Welcome back to Dub's Domain. I'm Eli, and I'm joined by my friend and fellow Warriors superfan, Nate. In this episode, we'll respond to the last two games the Warriors played, at the LA Clippers and at home against the Utah Jazz.
All right, Clippers game. We're not going to go super into detail for this game because it was atrocious and painful to watch. Not quarter by quarter. We're going to give our general thoughts on just how bad of a game it was. First of all, obviously, within the first 5 or 6 minutes, we were down 10. And I think this has been one of the things that I've noticed a lot in this season is we get down early a lot. And we're always playing from behind, which is what I feel like happens. We play from behind. We either make an amazing comeback or we just stay behind the entire game. In the first quarter, obviously, we did eventually come back a little bit. But once the second unit was in, we saw, obviously, Wanamaker, our year-long backup point guard being taken out. Poole and Manning were in. Damian Lee also didn't start that quarter. We can give our opinions on that, but I think the second unit still didn't play well. The defense was inexperienced.
I think that, like you mentioned, Wanamaker being benched for Poole and Mannion. This is the thing that a lot of Warriors fans have been calling for. And, well, we got to see what a lot of people have been worried about with them is Poole and Mannion just being so inexperienced, both defensively and offensively. We couldn't get anything going, right? Especially against a good Clippers defense, right? Their defense is really good.
Yeah, their defense is solid, and I think it's definitely interesting having Poole and Mannion play together, and we can discuss that more in the Jazz game. But I think Poole's a really good playmaker, and so is Mannion. Mannion is really reminding me of a Ricky Rubio with a decent jump shot, and which is what I really like about him is that once he gets the fundamentals down of executing the right plays, I think he'll be a really good point guard. But having them together is definitely interesting because I think Poole can also run the ball and run the offense. So what do you think about playing them together?
Yeah, it's not something that I was a super big fan of, especially after seeing how that Clippers game went, because a lot of the time, Poole is a lot more efficient, and he's not a rookie, so he's been in more games than NBA games, at least, than Mannion, and so he seems to be more of an efficient point guard than Mannion. And when you play the two together, it's just we have no guard defense whatsoever, and we also don't have anyone to get the offense going because while Mannion is good at that at sometimes, he's also a rookie and very inexperienced.
Yeah, I agree. I think just having them together, I think it should be maybe I like Poole playing with Curry too, which we can talk about more later. So maybe just staggering those minutes. I think it was just a weird time because he was testing out this first lineup, obviously. His first time without putting Lee and Wanamaker in by the second quarter, the beginning of the second quarter. And it was definitely a weird thing to start with. But James Wiseman, small ball, didn't play. Thoughts?
Right. Yeah. So obviously Wiseman, like you mentioned, wasn't put in because of disciplinary measures. He missed a COVID test over the weekend, and because of that, had to miss practice. And so Kerr benched him. And that's an interesting response. Overall, of course, Wiseman made an error. He's also young and also a rookie. And despite the fact that there does need to be consequences, I think that missing one practice is not enough to warrant us getting absolutely destroyed because of our small ball. I mean, we saw that they out-rebounded us. Zubac destroyed us because we had nobody to guard him besides Looney. And Looney, quite frankly, is not big enough either. And so Wiseman being out, I mean, we saw how much it hurt us. And I think while it was for disciplinary reasons, I don't think that it was a necessary response.
I have to disagree with you. I think James Wiseman, 19-year-old, coming into this league, he needs to get with the program. I think missing a COVID test, 2 COVID tests, it's team policy. I mean, the fact that you have to miss a practice because you were not able to follow the policy, and it's going to happen. It was a mistake. He's young. He's going to make those mistakes again, I'm sure. But, in his young career, we saw Zubats destroying our team, but in the end, I think this discipline was necessary because now he knows he can't miss a practice. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been injured this year. He's missed practices. He's missed games. The fact that you're missing a practice because you couldn't get your COVID test, to me, is just ridiculous. And I think, like I said, it's just a mistake. I think it was a good punishment for him. That being said, makes no sense to me that Kerr would put him in the fourth quarter when he already hadn't played the whole game. If you're going to play him, play him. If you're not going to play him, don't play him. It was very interesting. We saw he went in there and started dominating.
In that fourth quarter, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
imagine
clear
if he
that
had been there the whole game.
thank you. It's clear that he could have played. I agree that he should have been benched. Then why are you putting him in the fourth quarter? It just was very confusing to me.
Yeah, I think the difference is if it had been if Wiseman throughout the first couple months of the season had been consistently showing that kind of like forgetfulness or like not showing a passion and a desire to get better, because he's like been outspoken about it. You can tell in every game he plays, especially in that fourth quarter, you could tell like he is trying to learn and trying to get better. And but I think because of how what his attitude is, his head is in the right place, clearly in the right place. And I think that if it was someone else whose head might not be in the right place, then I think that is a acceptable disciplinary measure. But to cost us, uh, who knows if Wiseman had played more, if the game would have been ours. It might have just been closer. But even that, um, I just think that because of what his attitude's been like, I think he deserved to play.
No, I understand that for sure. I guess to me, again, I just want the consistency from Kerr. If you're going to bench him, bench him. If you're not going to bench him, don't bench him.
Yeah.
Um, I can
Yeah, I can see
see
that.
I can see where you're coming from for sure. Like we definitely did need him. I mean, it was clear Looney has been, in my opinion, awful. I know Kerr likes him for the defense, and he plays okay defense. But at 6'9", playing center
He's just
position,
too small.
he's too small. His offense, he used to be able to finish. He finished, 2018 finals. 2019 finals. He was incredible. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
really was one of the best players on the floor when Clay and Durant were both out in that game 6 against the Raptors. He got injured, and now I just don't see anything for him. I mean, he seems like he's just a lost cause to me. I really hope he can improve, but if not, I'm looking to see if we can just find a bigger man, a little more experienced on the offensive end, being able to put those shots in. Curry feeds him, Draymond feeds him, and he really doesn't finish that often.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something the Warriors could use. It's just a veteran presence in general, but a a veteran big who is larger than Looney could work. I don't know how he would be able to get it. The best option could be, I know the Spurs are looking to get rid of LaMarcus Aldridge. Maybe he gets bought out. Maybe the Warriors go after him. I don't think that's a likely option because I think he wants to ring chase. But
Yeah.
if we could get someone like that, that would be amazing. And we really saw that in the Clippers game and also a little bit in the Jazz game. Um,
And
yeah,
even, obviously Boogie Cousins still on the market. I'm not necessarily in a desire to bring him
get him
back.
back.
But there's also JaVale McGee. We could bring him
Right.
back. Just someone who is 7 feet, like to me,
Yeah,
can just be the difference. Also, those two are strong guys. They're big guys
true.
as opposed to Looney, who's just kind of Looney's more of a
Not,
4. I think when he came into the
yeah,
league, he was playing 4, and we needed him to play the 5, so we took on that role, and he kind of just never went back. And I think
right.
this really showed in the Clippers game and even in the Jazz game, which we'll get into. But
Yeah.
I just don't think he's not the same player to me.
Yeah. Um, Other than Looney, other than small ball, in that Clippers game, we saw that this is just something I've been overall thinking is that Wiggins he's been struggling recently aside from the Jazz game, but a lot of his struggles come from his shot selection. He is aggressive, but when he's aggressive, a lot of the time he just ends up settling for bad mid-range shots. They're either contested, off balance, or just overall not the best shots. about a quarter of his shots end up being mid-range, and he shoots just around 39% compared to how much more efficient he is when he shoots his threes or when he drives. And yeah, it's just he settles too much.
I completely agree. Wiggins, he needs to be aggressive, and I think when we get into the Jazz game, we'll talk about how much better he was in that game. But the
Mhm.
Clippers game, I think for me, is just the epitome of the whole year of what Wiggins has been trying to do, and that what isn't his strong suit. I mean, he is a
Right.
slasher. He's a very talented finisher. He can get to the rim. When he puts the ball in the bucket, I mean, that's what the best thing he does. His jump shot is not his strongest. He's not his
Yeah.
strongest thing that he has, but he keeps on settling for it. And
And he's been
and
doing that his whole career. Like since college, people have been
yeah,
saying, hey, you need to, or have been telling him if he drove more, if he stopped settling, then he would be so much better. But he still hasn't changed.
yeah. And I think the times that he should settle, if ever, is when there is legitimately like 2 seconds left in the shot clock, and we just need a shot up. I think
Hmm.
Wiggins is the closest thing we ever had to Kevin Durant in that sense, where he can shoot over lots of people, he can get a shot up from just about anywhere, and have an okay chance of making it. Well, obviously Durant had an incredible chance of
Yeah.
making it. That's just Durant. But that's just like the luxury that we have now is if we really need a shot, especially if Curry's not in, towards the very end of the shot clock, he can go that ISO. And I think that's the
Yeah.
only time I'd be relatively happy with him settling there. And I think a lot of times it can work out that way. But when there's so much time in the shot clock and he's just wasting it, sitting up there ISOing, and then he
Yeah.
wastes it and then just shoots it. I mean, if you're going
Hmm.
to sit there, go do something, make something happen.
Yeah. And overall, there was just a lot of settling going on in that Clippers game. And I mean, while it's not something we necessarily need to be super worried about, it was just a bad game, left a bad taste in our mouths. The Clippers definitely got their revenge from when we had that 25 or 20 plus point comeback earlier in the season.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw it. We saw the frustration leak out um, with Steph. I mean, the clip is everywhere of him uh, getting hyped, getting passionate, yelling at his teammates. Um, and yeah, I was just wondering, like, what do you think about that clip?
That clip fired me up. I mean,
Yeah,
we have never seen Wardell Stephen Curry. I've never seen him that passionate,
right.
particularly towards his teammates.
Mm-hmm.
He, I've seen him get a little bit
Yeah, like
angry,
when he
show a little
throws
passion
his
with like,
off
exactly.
guard,
But towards his teammates, he's always been just really not saying anything.
level-headed. Yeah,
Exactly. And so when I see that, it just shows how frustrated he was and how much he understands that this team is better than the way they were playing. And even Curry
yeah.
wasn't playing at his best by any means. I mean,
Mm-mm.
Curry did not have a
No,
good game, but just the passion that he showed shows that he is really frustrated and he knows the team can be better. And
right.
it shows that he's ready to make, like, he wants it to be successful for us, for the fans. He
Yes,
feels
for
bad for
sure.
us, I'm sure. you know his team has
Yeah,
talent on it, and when it's just getting blown out in games that it really shouldn't be getting blown out by that much, um, I loved it.
yeah. I mean, me too. I always love when someone gets hyped up like that. And I mean, we see it from Draymond all the time, but to see it from Curry, that is definitely something that is much rarer. And I mean, I really appreciated it. I thought it was awesome. And we saw that. I mean, as we dive into this Jazz game, I mean, we saw that it seemed to do something because we came out in the beginning of this Jazz game. Everyone was energetic, was aggressive, both on the offensive and defensive end. Um, and yeah, it just seemed like it was almost a wake up call. Uh, Curry shot great in the first quarter. Wiggins stopped settling. I mean, in that first quarter, he drove to the basket. He made things happen.
Yeah, he did. He came out right away. you know I think he started it either 3 for 3 or 4 for 4.
3 for 3, right? In
Three
that
for
first
three.
quarter, he was 3 for 3.
Yeah. And you're right. He wasn't settling. He was driving. He was getting to his spot. And the jump shots he took, he wasn't taking with a guy directly in his face. He
Hmm.
actually took some time, got some separation. Um, it was just so much more fluid to watch when Wiggins had the ball. Obviously, Curry came out, like you said, much more energized, and we put the Jazz in a position to play from behind, which is something that we've been doing the whole year. We've been getting in a
Yeah.
position playing from behind, like I said earlier. So when we put this other team, the best team in the league, by the way, our best record in the league, when we put them in a position to play from behind the entire game, from like a 7 minute mark in the first quarter on, it's gonna do something for our confidence. It's gonna do something for the chance we have at
Yeah.
winning, especially. And the way that we held on to the lead and played ahead. We played like we were ahead. We played like we needed to extend the lead, especially um, the differences in the second unit, which we can get into. Um, it was definitely a reminder of the potential this team has, I think.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Um, with the fact that it was really nice to see us get ahead, and w- part of what we've struggled with this season is when we do get ahead, a lot of the times our second unit comes in and loses that. And,
Yeah.
that still did start to happen for us. We saw at the beginning of the second quarter when the Jazz had Gobert in and their guards, they were destroying our second unit with the pick and roll. Every play, it seemed like it was either Gobert got the ball with the guard defending him, or a guard was driving with Wiseman on them and beat Wiseman to the hoop.
And
And
even if he
it,
didn't, Gobert was there with the guard on him to get the
yeah,
rebound.
exactly. I mean, I think even Fitzgerald said at one point, like, it doesn't matter if we play good defense to force them to miss, because Gobert's just sitting there like, I just have a guard on me. I'm just going to get the rebound and dunk
Exactly.
anyways. So we definitely saw them start to gain some momentum. But luckily, we had Mr. Jordan Poole to hit some big time threes and get the momentum sort of back in our direction. And yeah, Poole and Mannion over Wanamaker again this game. And I think it worked out a lot better. There still was a lack of offensive consistency. There still was not great defense, but Poole especially played a lot better.
Yeah. And I think when was watching Poole and Mannion this game, I'd like to focus specifically on them these past two games, just because I want to see what how they're progressing. And Poole um, is really showing, the reason we drafted him. Obviously, his rookie
Mm-hmm.
season, he was a lot less efficient. He wasn't taking good shots. Um, but now he really is. He's taking open shots. When he gets to the rim, he's finishing like some of the best of them. I mean, he's finishing really well. His 3-point percentage is way up this year. Obviously, very small sample size. But if you take it from the G League, that too. And Mannion, like I said earlier, I really see the Ricky Rubio in him, just the playmaker. On the defensive end, he's always hustling. And, I
Yeah.
think I pointed out the most when he stole the ball from, I believe, Bogdanovich and did a little spin pass to Poole wide open in the other
Mm-hmm.
side. And I think that just shows their hustle. And I really like
Yeah.
the effort they're putting in. And I think they're going to keep coming along really well if they keep progressing like that. And in the second unit, like you said, um, we had a scorer on the second unit this whole season.
Yes.
The problem
We
is, who
haven't.
are you going to go to score?
It was
Pascal,
Pascal for a little bit, but
yeah,
then he fell off.
Pascal, and you had Oubre. Like, with the inconsistency he still has, you never know
Yeah.
what he's going to do. Um, but Poole is this guy that I think I can see him as our sixth man, especially going into next year,
Mm.
as that guy like Jordan Clarkson. I think I saw a lot of Jordan Clarkson, and then let's just go get a bucket.
Yeah, that's a good
And,
comparison.
and I'm really excited to see if he can keep progressing this way, keep playing with this efficiency. I think that's the biggest thing. Um, and
Right.
holding
That
the
is
second
his
unit.
biggest knock. Yeah, I think that Jordan Clarkson comparison is a really, like, if he can be a Jordan Clarkson for us, that will be huge.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson. We saw it last night. The way he's been playing this year is amazing, and it just seems if he wanted to shoot it, he was going to get a decent shot up,
Yeah.
and that's why I think I saw a lot of that in Poole in it, and I saw a lot of Poole in him. Excuse me, I saw a lot of Clarkson and Poole. Just the way he can get to the rim, he can get a decent shot up, really at any time it seemed, and I'm excited, like I said, to see how our second unit can keep progressing with him and Mannion.
Yeah, I mean, our second unit had to play against the Jazz second unit, which is by no means bad. Jordan Clarkson probably sixth man of the year, and we were able to keep a decent sized lead going into the half. Um, and I mean, Mike Conley was huge for them in the first half, but other than that, we played great defense against them. And we had a solid first half performance overall from us. And then going into the second half, our defense looked really good, right? We were able to
Yeah.
keep everyone from getting into momentum besides Gobert. Gobert, obviously, with a monster stat line by the end of the game.
Career high
Uh,
rebounds.
yeah, career high 28 rebounds.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But other than him, we were able to keep everyone out of out of rhythm. Mitchell
Yeah.
did have a pretty decent quarter, but we were forcing him to take not so great shots.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, like you said, the defense was as advertised, it would seem. This whole year, Kerr's been saying top 10 defensive team. That's what their goal is. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this really was against one of the better offensive teams. This is one of the
Yes,
best 3-point shooting
absolutely.
teams, if not the best. And the way we forced them, like you said, we forced Mitchell into bad shots. Gobert got whatever he wanted. But other than that, Bogdanovich was not effective. Ingles was not effective compared to what he normally would do. And I think our top 10 defense that we've been striving for really came out, especially just a fun fact, Draymond stopping another 1v3.
Yeah,
Kind of funny
yeah,
to
that
see
was
that.
hilarious. Yeah, that's becoming his thing almost. I mean, he did that earlier in the season against the Pacers, I believe it was,
Yeah.
and this time against the Jazz. So
Yeah, it's like
don't
the
want to
three
stop him.
guys, the three guys just come at him, and apparently they just don't know what to do. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't really know how you don't convert that. But yeah, that was really fun to see from Draymond. And that it's little
Mhm.
things like that for me that just make these games more interesting. It's been a
Yeah,
really hard season to watch. So it's more fun. Some down things about the game, especially with Wiseman's rebounding. I mean, we talked about it. Even when Wiseman was in there, he
yeah,
wasn't in there against Gobert that much. But when he was, obviously he got switched off of Gobert a lot. Uh,
yes.
but even on these rebounds, he gets out
He,
rebounded by most guys on the floor. I mean,
yeah, he has really good rebounding potential. I mean, he's a 7-footer, and he's athletic, and he should not be only getting 4 rebounds. He had a potential to get like 10 rebounds at least this
at
game, and he
least.
ended up with 4. And I think that'll be something that he'll learn. He'll learn the angles of the game. Draymond will mentor him. Hey, this is where you go to get rebounds. He also doesn't like boxing out. I remember there was one time at the end of the Clippers game in the fourth quarter when he got to play, he boxed someone out, and I was like, oh my gosh, he boxed someone out. That's
Yeah.
amazing. We haven't seen him do that at all. And then in the Jazz game, kind of reverted back to not really boxing people out. He was out rebounded by everyone, which it is something that will come with experience and will come with age.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when Steph Curry, a 6'3" guard's getting more rebounds than you, I think there's an issue there. Um,
Yeah,
although to be fair, Steph Curry is a very good
rebounding
rebounder
guard.
for a guard.
Yeah,
But either way, I mean, his offense obviously was amazing this game, which was really great to see. 8 of 11 shooting. That efficiency is really, really good to see.
hmm
Um, but other than that, I think for this game, we went into third, like you said, maintaining that lead. But once the fourth started, kind of the same thing happened in the fourth that happened in the second. The second unit came in, and immediately Mike Conley in the Jazz came out and made the game a lot closer than it was before.
hmm
But same story, broken record. Jordan Poole kind of started hitting shots.
yeah,
Pascal hit a couple really nice mid ranges, but
absolutely. Yeah, it
it's
was
really
overall.
stressful. Yeah,
Yes, it is really stressful. I definitely agree with that. It was stressful watching, but everyone got involved. Um, and we were matching their shots with our shots. They would hit a shot, we'd hit a shot. They'd miss a shot, we'd miss a shot. So it was really stressful. Fortunately for us, Joe Ingles missed a wide open 3 that would have put them up, but we were able to survive until Curry and them came in, and then that was the game.
and honestly, for me, that's what we need from a second unit. I think Fitzgerald was saying this a lot. How it's just survive until Curry and Draymond come in. Curry and Draymond
Yeah.
around the 6-minute mark. If it's a close game, a lot of times Curry will send with the scorer's table around 7 minutes. So they're getting even a little earlier than that. Just keep it close,
Right.
And especially if we have a lead, just keep the lead at an okay amount. I think was it around 5 or 6 maybe when Curry and Draymond came in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking something around there.
Around then, yeah.
And that, is great in my opinion. I think that's all we can ask for from them. Curry and Draymond come in and we run away with it. I mean,
Yeah.
It was basically what I was saying earlier again, that the second unit just needs to keep that. Curry and Draymond come in and we can finish games.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Curry and Draymond proven time and time again that they can finish games. Draymond has also proven that he makes some questionable decisions, but them two together, I mean, they've been pretty great this season. And I definitely feel comfortable when we have a lead and Curry and Draymond come in.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Draymond, though. Let's just kind of
yeah.
say he got triple-double,
Mm-hmm.
played great this game, but
Right.
we're not going to talk about any other decisions he's made throughout the season.
Anything else? Yeah. I mean, yeah, and pretty good way to summarize the game. I mean, it was Curry's birthday on the Jazz game too, so that was a nice birthday present for Curry. He got all fired up at his teammates, and they're like, "Oh shoot, we got to perform for him on his birthday."
Yeah,
and they did.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Nico Manni's birthday too. He's not getting enough credit, bro.
That's true. Yeah, he dropped 32, or Curry dropped 32. Draymond had a triple double. Wiggins had 28. Bench performances had great, and we end up beating the team with the best record in the league. So, heck yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I had, or I thought was interesting that we could maybe talk about really quickly is the fact that Damian Lee was removed from the lineup. And I know you mentioned how he was one of your most consistent role players for you. I love Damian Lee and his play. He's hit 2 game winners, I'm pretty sure, for us early in the season. And it just, I can't really say I don't like it because we just beat the best team in the league. But I just feel bad, man. I mean, I love to see him succeed and perform. And who knows, it might have just been a 1-game thing, but in the Clippers game, he only played 10 minutes or something, which is less than he normally would. And I hope that this isn't a permanent thing and that it's just a one-time thing. But yeah.
Yeah. For context, he averages 19 minutes this game and only played 10 in the Clippers and not in this game. So it definitely appears that Kerr is trying to, factor in the fact that he's got Poole and Manny and 2 other guards that might be someone or people that he wants to stick with going forward. And I agree with you. Damian Lee, like I said, has been my most consistent role player that we've had this year. And he always comes in. He can hit a 3. His 3-point percentage has been some of the best of his career. So I don't know how to feel about it right now. Like you said, it worked apparently. We'll see how it goes going forward if he's going to start getting more minutes. But we can say the same thing about Michael Mulder. He didn't go in this game either, and he was playing a decent amount of minutes.
That was my most
exactly. Yeah.
Consistent role player.
So who knows? I guess none of us really care about Brad Wanamaker. Whataburger. It's just not it, man. He's not it.
Yeah. Hopefully
I do feel bad for him a little bit, to be fair.
Yeah, I liked the pickup, and he just hasn't been what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you so much if you have gotten to this point, and we cannot emphasize enough how grateful we are that you listened. It means a lot. If you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. It will help us out a ton. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe, like the video, and share it with friends. Well, I guess we'll catch you next time in Dub's Domain.